Is the Zelda Speedruns 3 channel, and tonight we have a race from the Zelda 2 Randomizer Max Rando tournament. And we have jkoper and levelengine tonight, and they just started, and they will start with the glove, the boots, and the hammer, as you can see in the tracker. And they will only have to place 2 gems tonight. So this could be a pretty short one unless there is some kind of troll for these guys. They will also start both with the up stab and the down stab technique, and the shield and the jump spell. So yeah, pretty generous seed. However, they only started with 2 heart containers, and the life levels are random, so this could be tough anyway, but these are very good players, so we will see what happens. So we see jkoper already getting some levels, while levelengine is saving the levels for later, getting his attack levels priority. So we see levelengine in the trophy cave, and he gets a toasty, and jkoper also in trophy cave avoids the toasty because the gorilla didn't climb down the stairs, so that was kind of lucky for him. And levelengine dies again there. The number of lives they started with is pretty normal. It's 3 lives, and we see the guys getting a 500 point payback out of this cave. So that's pretty nice to have at the beginning of the seed. And yeah, a 7-8 time says starting with up and down stab and shield and jump is pretty nice. And well, the players are dying quite a bit, but not so bad. It's not like a one hit knockout seed like we've seen in other matches. And yeah, the players are getting as much experience as they can at the beginning of the seed, because they only have to place 2 gems. That will make the game shorter, but that could also mean that they will have to enter Great Palace with very low levels, and we know that is a nasty place. It can be very short, but sometimes it can be very long and painful, and there's the possibility of fighting T-Bird. So you need some leveling before you place your 2 gems to get the most out of those 2 gems. We see levelengine in the medicine cave, while we see jkoper in the grass tile grabbing his magic key. That will make things easier for him and faster. While levelengine, unfortunately, game overs in the medicine cave. That's a pretty hard cave, one of the hardest of the western continent, because you have flying enemies and you have land enemies, and you have low levels at the beginning of the seed, so it is pretty tough. However, he uses the shield spell this time, and meanwhile jkoper is gonna say hi to Bagu, and Bagu says bam bam bam. That's pretty interesting. And jkoper in taking a quick peek in Death Mountain. He has the hammer, so finding a rock could be a free item for him. While levelengine will tell us what's lying inside medicine cave, and it is the flute, and it could be required. There's a very low probability of it being required, but Great Palace could be hiding in 3-Eye Rock, and if that's the case, the flute is required, so that's a good find for him. Meanwhile, jkoper is gonna cross the town of Saria. He's gonna grab a free spell out of here, as well as heal, and maybe a hint, but I don't know. Yeah, he's gonna try to get the hint out of the bot. And Guma sits on the 500 payback. That's very important knowledge. There's a very low probability that the players are gonna be looking for items in this seed, but you never know. There could be very painful possibilities about this seed. So jkoper about to craft his third spell. He started with 2, he started with shield and jump, and now he gets the spell. Now levelengine getting into some encounters to try to level up before he game overs. Game overing is pretty easy with this. Very few hard containers the players have. And meanwhile, jkoper enters Palace 1. That's a no-brainer. He has the magic key. There's nothing to fear. He has some good levels to go on. And yeah, he's looking for the item. He's going to the left. Maybe something helpful like a hard container or magic container. And then he will proceed to kill Horsehead. While levelengine is still doing some overworld exploration, he finds that mountain. He doesn't seem very interested and walks out. And yeah, there's a thing that could hold the guys for quite a bit here, and it is the fact that they don't have the raft, and we still don't know if Great Palace is in the Western continent. So one of the first things you have to do in this kind of seed is find out what are the 3 palaces that are lying on the Western continent, and that will tell you if the raft is required or not. So levelengine finding the town of Rando, not interested, he doesn't have the trophy. And there are more caves and more towns, and this is the payback cave in the Western continent. A good cave to get some experience, as well as getting a free item out of here. Well, not so free, sometimes this is a pretty tough one. Meanwhile, jkoper enters the item room in Palace 1 and levelengine finding a hard container, making things a little bit easier, while jkoper finds the raft, the hot dogs in Palace 1. And yeah, some guys hit very hard. That's very random. Both things are random, if I'm correct. How hard the enemies hit and your life level is random. It will improve as you get levels, but the numbers will be random. Okay, so the levelengine picking up his fire spell, I believe. So in this category, the fire spell is linked to another spell, so we still don't know what levelengine got here besides the fire spell, and he gets a hint. Wow, and jkoper game overing to Horsehead. That is very painful. I've been there. While levelengine got a hint about the raft being in Palace 1. So as soon as he finds Palace 1, he knows what to do. jkoper getting more experience. He's gonna save up for the attack level, while levelengine is in the magic container cave. And a magic container for levelengine. So at this moment, the things that could stop these guys are this being flute required could stop jkoper if he doesn't find the pivot cave in the western continent, or thunder being required in Great Palace. Those are the two things that are most likely to pose an opposition to our players tonight. So we see jkoper, he unfortunately game over to Horsehead. He needed to walk back to this room that was pretty deep inside Palace 1, and hopefully this time it doesn't troll him. But no, this time it was pretty easy. He's kind of, yeah, he's gonna kind of burn a gem. Sadly, he didn't get the level he got before because he wanted the attack level, but he's a very good player. This is not worrisome for him. And yeah, Trails, you're absolutely right. This kind of seed is pretty tense. The whole time you're thinking, oh, my opponent is gonna finish this at any moment. I don't know when. In my case, that I lost most of the races, I feel relief most of the times I see my opponent finishes the seed, and before that it is a roller coaster, man. It's pretty tense because you never know how fast the other guy is going, and you never know how careful you have to be. So jkoper picking up his magic container out of the hard container cave, while levelengine is about to pick up his spell out of the town of Saria. I believe we still don't know what the fire spell is linked with. So yeah, that could be a game changer. However, it's pretty expensive, but levelengine now has the means to cast it. So he just selected it and he's about to cast it on the first encounter he gets, I guess. And levelengine entering Palace 1. Let's see how Palace 1 goes for him. jkoper took a game over, so levelengine can get some time back here. Well, he hasn't lost any time. He has explored the overworld a bit more than jkoper. Well, he came over in Medicine Cave, but that didn't cost him that much time. However, jkoper having to walk back to very deep inside P1 to find Horsehead again was pretty painful. So jkoper in what appears to be Palace 3, about to beat Ribonek, and we still haven't seen Great Palace, I believe. So it could be here in the Western continent, or it could be in the other continent. However, going to the other continent is not going to be a problem for these players because jkoper has the raft and levelengine has the knowledge that the raft is inside the palace he's in currently. So jkoper placing his second gem, he's ready to go inside Great Palace. However, we don't know where it is. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Trails. The bird could be the word. So stay tuned, because Great Palace is the great equalizer. And jkoper taking a death inside Medicine Cave. He's on his last life. And Medicine Cave, as I said before, is pretty tough. It has flying enemies and it has land enemies, and as the players are playing with a flag turned on, and that flag is the flag that shuffles small and big enemies, this Medicine Cave first screen is full of great enemies. He's, however, getting his life 5 level out of here, so he's on his last life, but hopefully this second room is not so bad, so he will be able to pick up his flute, I believe. Yeah, this is the flute. And levelengine fighting Horsehead. So yeah, levelengine's Palace 1 was way faster than jkoper's. So we'll see how that affects the race. However, jkoper is pretty much ahead. He has placed both his gems, and he needs to find Great Palace and check it out. That's the only thing he needs to do. So because he's selling, I'm gonna guess he's seen the 3 palaces in the Western continent. However, I missed what the other palace was. And thank you, Trails, that's very important, because the fairy spell was something I forgot that could block these guys out of Great Palace. So having the fire spell is pretty important at this point. jkoper taking a painful death in this encounter that is full of lag. And there's a palace, and it is not Great Palace. He's pondering the possibility of apneiing and recovering the life he lost, but he's close to a level, so I guess that's why he decided not to do it. And he's gonna keep looking for the palaces out there. He's gonna go inside the water tile. That's a free item for him, and that's a cross. Could be helpful. There are a pair of Moas inside Great Palace, and if he gets encounters with Moas, he will be able to see them, so not so bad. There's one in the swamp encounter. Meanwhile, we see levelengine inside Palace 2, so I guess that's the other palace in the Western continent. Unless he has sailed, that I believe he hasn't. Yeah, you're absolutely right, 7-8 time. And yeah, this one could be pretty short too. Very similar size to Palace 3. Palace 3 is shorter, and this one tends to be trollier. The disposition of the rooms kind of make you gamble a lot inside Palace 2. And here's Great Palace for jkoper. He enters on 18 minutes and I don't know, like 15 seconds. And the first room he gets is what we call the Dark Magician room. This is one of the waffle rooms, but it has some risks involved, like some boss bots and enemies at the beginning. And there's a jar inside the second waffle, just in the middle of it. That jar could also be a red bird. There's a 50-50 chance of it being a red bird. And we have a blue bird at the end, and yeah, Mr. Bossbot there hurting a lot. But jkoper manages to survive. Meanwhile, we see levelengine in the room with the crumbling bridges in Palace 2. He uses the fairy spell that is disguised as the fire spell in this one. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Trails. Everything in Great Palace is hurting a lot, and he only has 2 heart containers, while levelengine has 3. So, and he has a fairy spell, a very cheap fairy spell, because it's linked to the fire spell. So yeah, that will help levelengine escape death a lot. So yeah, if levelengine enters Great Palace soon, he has a very big possibility of turning this one around. And this doesn't seem to be a very short Great Palace at all, so yeah, anything can happen. jkoper finding a dead end. He's wondering, what do I do? Do I up an A? Do I wait and get a level? But getting levels in Great Palace is pretty hard. So yeah, he takes the up an A and he starts all over again, while levelengine is about to place his second gem after he beats Buckethead. And jkoper once again in the Dark Magician room. However, he already took damage, and not taking damage to Bossbot is gonna be tricky. So yeah, not dying here is pretty hard. So he will start all over. That's the wise choice. He needs to enter the second waffle without being hit. That's kind of a requirement, because either Bossbot or the blue bird will hit him. However, this fast skull is pretty hard to avoid. He managed to do it this time, thankfully. Meanwhile, levelengine sails to the eastern continent, and we'll see how Bossbot behaves, and it's been trolly. Let's see if he survives, and he survives, thankfully. That is a horrible room to start Great Palace. That's one of the reasons jkoper took quite some time to decide if he wanted to up an A, because he knew he had to go through this hell again. Thankfully, there's this fairy here, so he won't lose his first life exploring. Let's see if he goes left at the fairy room, and he will. He has to be very careful. This room is very trolly. For example, that knife, if he were standing up, he will have died most probably. Levelengine getting 500 payback out of the desert tile. And yeah, you're absolutely right, 7-8 time. These kind of short gem races are pretty fun to watch. Because yeah, the players, first they have to survive very tough things. And second of all, they need to take gambles. That's unavoidable. And wow, jkoper just surviving the Eon drop, while levelengine enters Great Palace on 23 minutes and 50 seconds. That's kind of like 5 minutes and a half after jkoper, so jkoper has quite some lead here. But as we said before, levelengine has more resources, has more ways to escape death than jkoper, so that could play in his favor if this Great Palace turns out to be a nightmare. So we've seen the destination of the Eon drop, and it lands on top of what we call the L7 room. And yeah, when you get the boss bot and you hit the boss bot and it splits into the 6 immortal, almost immortal bots, almost everything despawns from the screen you're on. So that's kind of a good way to despawn focus. Focus are the birds inside Great Palace. So yeah, if you find a boss bot near a foca and you split it into 6 small bots, that will despawn the focus around. And levelengine killing this, wow, this will be risky. I don't think he will make it. Meanwhile, I believe jkoper was in the trails room. He goes to the left. I'm gonna say he didn't land there, but he walked from right to left into the trails room, so we know one of the drops will lead him there. However, he dies and he game overs, and that's pretty unfortunate. And yeah, that spicy bird, the way levelengine approached it, it was pretty risky because he could throw fire at your face. So yeah, that wasn't the most optimal solution. It's better to approach that guy from below. And jkoper on round 3 in this trolley room, and bossbot takes claim of his first life. So he will up an A and do it again. Meanwhile, levelengine going left of the ferry room. So jkoper has been here. Yeah, levelengine at this moment is deeper inside the palace. However, jkoper has more knowledge, so the probabilities of levelengine doing what jkoper just did are pretty high. So yeah, he will find the Eon drop soon, and then he will go to the right and there will be a dead end, so he will walk back and fall into the Eon drop. So yeah, this is the Eon drop. He will most probably go to the right here. He will most probably die too. Wow, he avoids that. Yeah, that was masterful. And yeah, there's a dead end. Now he needs to fall without dying. And jkoper inside the ferry room again. While levelengine lands on the top of the L7 room. However, as levelengine has more survivability, there's a probability that he will survive the room that levelengine game over at. So he will have more knowledge then. And levelengine finding the L7 drop, and that leads him into one of the dead ends to the left of the palace, and this is the one with the enemy. There are 2 of those. One has an enemy and the other has 2 jars or birds. And levelengine finding what we call the Jackimus room, and it is this room, and this room has a jar and has flying enemies. There could be a boss bot in this one, but no, it's a boss skull. So yeah, at this moment things are looking good for levelengine. Let's see what happens. Anything can happen here. This place is very tough. Yeah, for example, watch jkoper's screen. This waffle room is just garbage. Look at the lag. It's so bad that jkoper is deciding to walk out of it. That's how bad it is. He knows he can't survive. And levelengine, in the other hand, is grabbing a 1-up. So yeah, things are being very, very fortunate for levelengine. However, he dies. He has 2 lives left. It's not free for him. He has better survivability than jkoper, but that's still tough. He got a 1-up and he only has 2 lives, so that means he was on his last life. Well, he wasn't, but he would have been on his last life if he hadn't found the 1-up. jkoper going through the paperclip room that has the flying enemies, and he dies at the end of it. He still has 2 lives though. Levelengine going through what we call a theater room, and jkoper does the wall jump inside this trolley room. That was pretty fortunate for him, while levelengine up an ace out of Great Palace, and he will try again. jkoper about to die. Yeah, this will be pretty hard to survive, especially without the fairy spell. He needs to be very, very clever here. He needs to manipulate those 2 enemies in a way that... Yeah, this will be tough. We'll see how he deals with it. Wow. No, this is a nightmare for him. I believe he will make it. However, he's on his last life. He lands into the other left dead end, and it leads him to Darkling. Wow. But he can't game over, and levelengine is out of Great Palace. Why? No. Did he find Thunderbird or something? I don't know. And yeah, give your GGs to jkoper. This race was amazing, man. How can things turn around in a second inside Great Palace? That's one of the most amazing things about this game and about this category. And that's Great Palace. Great Palace is definitely the great equalizer. Anything can happen inside there. So yeah, what a game. So let's hope this pays off for levelengine, and he gets to have an easier Great Palace. However, it doesn't look like it. He already had the spell from this town, so nothing there. And yeah, I don't think this was worth it for him. I don't think so. Well, that's a possibility, but I don't think so. I believe everyone in this tournament kind of knows that Thunderbird could not be required in this category. And yeah, well, I don't know, but I don't think that was the reason. I believe the reason was that he felt he was being punished inside Great Palace. So let's see if jkoper joins us for chat. He does most of the times. Hopefully he will, because yeah, this was a very interesting game. So levelengine inside Valley of Death again. Oh no, he wasn't. He was... Yeah, I'm starting to think that you're right, man. But no, he's entering Great Palace again. He's going inside Valley of Death.
Hello.
Hey, man. Wow, that was incredible. That... Man, at this moment, levelengine got out of Great Palace. I don't know why. Maybe he felt he was having a hard time there. He was looking maybe for something that lets him survive. But there was a moment where he has 3 heart containers. He has the fire spell that's linked to the fairy spell. So that's very nice to have in Great Palace. And although he entered Great Palace 5 minutes later than you were having a very bad time inside Great Palace, and he wasn't having as bad as a time as you were. So yeah, the race was pretty close. However, you found Dark Link on the brink of a game over. That must have been very, very butt clenching for you. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that was certainly stressful. I was just praying that he wasn't going to jump into me, because, it's maybe 50-50 or something whether I can dodge a hit if he jumps into me. So, yeah. Yeah, I sure was hoping that it wasn't going to come down to him jumping into me and me gaming over and then having to walk back, just losing at that point. But I don't know. I guess I persevered enough in Great Palace to find the way. I felt like a big moment was identifying that one loop that went through that waffle room. I found that blue bird knight in the spicy chicken from both sides. So, yeah, at that point I knew I had to go a different direction.
Yeah, you walked back, and that ended up leading you to the right way, and that was amazing. However, after that, you had to go inside that drop that had the orange bird and the spicy bird, and that was terrible too, but you managed to survive that somehow. So yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, a third heart container sure would have been a huge blessing. But I felt like the game is telling us with 2 gems in the glove and everything, just get to GP and see what you can do. So yeah, that's what I did. I was definitely stressing over my levels and my XP the whole time. Would have liked to get a boost of something at some point, but that never really happened. Yeah, I feel like Life 5 came at a significant moment, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, anyway. I like the way you played this one. You got the things that were in your way, like the water tile and things that could help you, but that were kind of in your way. But you didn't get out of your way to get more survivability things. So yeah, that was a risk, especially with this kind of palace. But thankfully, you were able to persevere and to play it safely inside those very, very, very hard rooms inside it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tempting to look for more hearts and stuff like that, but you don't even know if there are more hearts in the game. So, looking for something that might not even exist, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's definitely tempting, but there's a lot of risk involved in doing that. Could be a lot of time for nothing.
Yeah, in case you're curious, I believe the heart was in Piva Cave in the Western continent, and the Fire Fairy spell was in Raru in the Western continent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that I skipped a lot of the West, but I figured the most important thing was finding palaces, and I just said I'm gonna just go for it, and you know, there's likely to be palaces that are easy to find in the east, so I'll go east first and worry about looking for that last palace in the west later, and maybe some other items in the west as well.
Oh wow! So you didn't know that Palace 2 was the other palace in the Western continent?
No, I never saw Palace 2.
Wow. And levelengine finds T-Bird again, I believe. I believe he was here already, and that's why he got out, but he ended up here again, and he takes a game over, so he will start. Hopefully this time he goes the right way. And I believe for the right way you had to go left at ferry, of course, and then you had to take an elevator going up, maybe?
Well, yeah, left at ferry was the only way through the palace in general. And then at some point you had to take an elevator going up. I'm not sure when exactly. I don't know. There's multiple ways to the end, I think.
Yeah, the most important thing is arriving at that drop with the orange bird and the spicy bird. So yeah, we've seen the destination of the L7 drop, and that leads to Thunderbird, and I'm gonna guess that will lead to the other drop, the bridge drop, the glove required one, and that will lead you to the trails room, maybe? Or, I don't know. So yeah, we'll see what is the way that the path that levelengine chooses to take. So jkoper, was this your second victory, or are you 1-1? I don't remember very well.
This is my second victory. I raced BGT last week.
Nice, congratulations. Yeah, I think I saw that race. Thanks. I'm pretty sure I saw that race. I just forgot the outcome of it.
Yeah, you probably did. Don't remember. And if you commentated, or probably not. I don't remember.
Levelengine is in the paperclip room that has the flying enemies, and there you died there once, and then the second time you almost fell into the hole in that room, but you kind of wall jumped in that like you landed on the exact pixel of it. That was amazing.
I'm trying to remember what you're talking about. What room is the paperclip room?
The one that has a little troll hole and that you can fall into.
Oh yeah. So that hole I almost fell into going through. Yeah. I don't remember having any issues at all the first time through, but
the first time through you died to a dragon head on the edge of the screen. You were almost leaving that screen and you died there. And the second time you almost fell in the hole. and then you
Right.
died once in the drop, and that was your last life. So thankfully you made it to Darkling. So GG to levelengine, who finished in second place with a time of 44 minutes and 6 seconds. And this was a pretty close race, although it doesn't seem like it, because levelengine was in pretty good shape at the same time as jkoper. So if Darkling would have been on the right side of the Jakimus room or something like that, things will have turned very differently. So yeah, GG to him. Let's see if he joins us.
GG levelengine.
Thank you.
Hey man. Well, as I was telling jkoper, this was pretty close at one moment. Before you left GP, things were very bad clenching. jkoper was having an awful time in GP because he only had 2 hard containers. He didn't have the Fire Fairy spell, and which I believe didn't help a lot in this seed, but
It didn't have too much effect.
Yeah, it does help somehow anyway. But yeah, you were looking like in a better shape, and you were exploring a new territory, and that was the Jakimus room and things. And jkoper was on his last life, and then he found Darkling, and then you walked out of Great Palace, I believe, as soon as you saw Thunderbird. Is that right?
Because what I saw from those rooms in the Great Palace is I took a drop downwards. A room to my right, the right of the room where I fell into. So I kind of assumed that Thunderbird had to lead up to something important because I took a drop. That led to a room where you could go either right or down from. I went to my right, and there was another fork in the road. The fork in the road where you went up the elevator eventually led to the extra life room, which is dead end. And on my right was another dead end. And then I went back down to that other room with the fork in the road, went down the elevator, and then to Thunderbird. So I ended up taking a drop, saw like 2 dead ends in Thunderbird's room, so I just kind of tried to assume that Thunderbird might have been required.
So I think after Thunderbird must have been a drop back to the
It had to
is
be
that
either
the trails room,
the
the room where you can walk either direction, and then it has all the floating heads in it and whatever, the dragon heads.
probably.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Either that room or Dark Link. It had to lead up to something, I just didn't know what.
Yeah, I mean that room I saw, so that easily could have taken to Dark Link. So, yeah. Anyway, that was interesting and stressful. I finished at 425. I don't know about you, but I like Victor said, I only had 2 hearts, and
I had 4/4/5 stats and 3 heart containers and 6 magic containers.
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
couldn't get to Dark Link in time.
right. Yeah,
If I would have gone up one elevator, that would have changed everything.
Exactly. I knew that I still had that one path to explore, so I did that. Had I done that and not found anything, I might have ended up leaving Great Palace as well.
Well, I assume that you finished with the 32-minute time that after I went and thought about it by leaving the Great Palace and looking for Thunder, it kind of just clicked that Thunder might not actually likely be required if you were able to finish in 32 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I got to Great Palace at about the same time as you and you finished, then I was just imagining that Thunder would not likely have been required.
I spent a significant amount of the race in Great Palace.
Same here.
Like I skipped
Almost half of it was in Great Palace alone.
I skipped a significant amount of the West. I just did P1 and then P3, got the raft out of P1, and checked a couple caves that I saw on the way looking for things, and then I didn't even find P2 in the West. I just went east to see what was over there and found JP and stuck it out and finished it out, I guess. So
Yeah, jkoper entered Great Palace 5 minutes before levelengine. He entered 18 minutes, while
Wow.
levelengine entered at 23 minutes.
23 minutes, and I finished at like about the 44-minute mark. So about half that seed was in Great Palace alone.
Yeah, for both of you, yeah.
Yeah, but that was interesting. Something like this, you never know quite what the right decision is. You just gotta take chances and hope
You
that
don't
it
know
works
if you
out
might
for you, I
need
guess.
fairy either in some cases. And then you could just figure out fairy was never needed when you see the other person just finished not too long after you decide to leave Great Palace. Thinking you need something, but it turns out you actually don't.
Yeah.
That's the first time I had this instinct in a race, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, I've been there. I have walked out of Great Palace without having to. So yeah, that doesn't feel very good, but it happens. You have this possibility in your mind that you will need thunder or something. So yeah, you walk out trying to look.
Well, thanks for the race, and thanks to Victor for commentary, and Jinxie
And thanks
for...
to ZSR3 for just giving us a rehost.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us a restream.
Jinxie did most of the work, I think, but the CSR was there. So, yeah, thanks, guys. I had fun.
Guys. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us this very exciting race. I don't race my boys a lot, but this time you could hear that I was very, very excited, and it was very tense, that moment where it was anyone's game. So yeah, let's hope we get a lot more of those.
I mean, why else do you think I really run these in the first place? We got a lot of that here.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to our racers, to jkoper and levelengine. They are amazing racers, and hope you follow them. And I want to give a shout out to the people that made this possible, and that's of course Lost the Pirate, who I believe set things up for us, and Jinxie Girl, who was our tracker. And well, see you in the next race, and thank you for watching. And I don't know if anyone will talk about what's next on Zelda speedruns. I'm not very informed about it, but I believe we don't have that information. So yeah, see you in the next race.
There's 3 more Swiss rounds after this, right?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
There are 3 more Swiss rounds after this, right?
Yeah, that's correct. There are 5 Swiss rounds.
I can still easily make it into brackets, and then maybe still win the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. I believe
if I can somehow just literally clutch the whole way through. If I can clutch all my games against the top runners.
Okay, so Jinxie Girl is telling us that she's going to send us over to ZSR2 to watch the end of A Link to the Past randomizer between Dr. Akaris and Scrub Casual. So yeah, let's go there. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.